Everybody, what's happening? Welcome to another edition of BADCATZ SPORTS PODCAST. Unfortunately, the show isn't going to go live due to some security issues with Facebook. Big surprise, but we'll play the show probably in an hour or two from now, and we can maybe get this up. In worst case, it'll be tomorrow. Rob, if you can send Lisa a message back there on your thing that we're having some problems with the thing, that would be fantastic. So, BADCATZ Sports Podcast, busy time of the year for sure. Like to welcome new co-host, my man Jimmy Hilario, rocking the Northeast Alternative. Listen to me.
Let's go.
That's the best. That's the best way to grace yourself fair, man. We've been talking to those
They
guys,
sponsor our softball team. We got a big one tonight.
and just like they're winning in the cannabis game. You guys are winning the softball game, right? You guys are down to the last two teams. Or three?
We're in the semifinals, game
Okay.
3. Winner goes to the finals tonight.
Okay, and you're a big sporting fan too. There you go. And you are a dad of how many kids?
3, but I call it 5 with 2 stepdaughters.
Absolutely.
And a
But you got
step granddaughter.
You got 3 kids that are very active. I saw your trip on Facebook to a wrestling event. Which one was it?
WrestleMania.
You took them to WrestleMania,
Go
huh?
go home. That's
Wow. What was that like?
Awesome. The people watching in itself.
Yeah.
You know, because I was into wrestling as a kid.
It's bigger than an event now. It's a circus, right? Outside an event, outside of a wrestling. It's a lots of things now, right?
It's worth going down there just for the event if you like wrestling or not. Like, because really
Sure.
it is. It's just it's madness down there.
Yeah. Okay. We got my man Birdie in the building. Birdie, living in Westport, God's country, right?
God's country.
The hurricane that wasn't, right?
Hurricane Herren, I believe.
I don't know. Wasn't hurricane? Hurricane.
Tropical storm Herren.
I hear you. Well, it was a dud except for your backyard.
My backyard.
That's your luck.
Tree split in half, about 40 foot, and
Jimmy he said he's waiting for his tree to fall down.
okay.
Yours fell down. How
Yeah.
long did it take you with the chainsaw in your bare hands to get rid of that mess?
By myself, that was about a 2-day ordeal.
2-day ordeal?
Yeah.
And you can burn stuff out there,
Well,
right?
I'd burn the brush, but the bigger stuff, I just leave it in the back. Anybody looking for firewood, that's where it'll go. So.
Now, we were talking about this before the air, and this is a sports show, so we're coming out with a sports angle. Like these meteorologists out there, okay? Shut down both casinos, shut down the Providence Place Mall, shut down commerce and travel throughout New England, impacted the economy in God knows how many millions of dollars. They all blow it, top to bottom, and they walk back onto the job the next day like, oh, doop-de-doop, here I am, I'm John Giossi, I got a job for life, blah, 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 you know. I mean, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, listen to me. We break teachers' balls over MCAS. We bust social workers' balls if something crazy happens.
Referees.
We bust referees' balls. We bust athletes' balls. We bust the balls of cops. We bust the balls of financial institutions. We go on down the line. These guys run unchecked.
Unaccountable. No accountability, I guess,
Like,
right?
how come we don't have a power ratings for Providence and Boston weathermen and New England cable news and all the ones that we have access to, right? I mean, how come we don't know which one performs better than the other? You would think we got baseball odds, we got political odds, okay? We know the police departments that get into more trouble than other ones, okay? We know the school departments that underperform are below their thing. But we can't get, and arguably, everything that I mentioned, the media guys have them by the balls. Because if they're wrong, what are they going to do? In a blink of an eye, they're going to shut it down. They're going to create a commercial hysteria at the Walmarts for the generators.
That's what it's all for.
You know, and at Walmart's for the generators, and the Ciabras, and every place, because the place is going to be packed.
Well,
Mobs, they're going to buy all the milk, all the water, and people are going to be roller skating down the street like they were on skateboards. it was thought to be the highest part of the storm. How can you be that wrong all the time? I don't get it, Jimmy.
Do you think that they're getting kickbacks from somebody like Walmart? Like, hey, you know what? Say it's going to be bad.
I mean, they should
check their bank account. I'll tell you that.
They should be, because I mean, it's getting to a point now, man, where I'm worried about the boy that cried wolf philosophy. I'm worried about people like us three can say, I've heard it all before, blah, 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 and then bang!
And then you get hit with a monster.
Then you get hit with one that's bigger than what they thought. But how about some simple questions, right? Like a coach. Coach, how did the barometric pressure play in your poor judgment, right? How did the Gulf Stream figure in? How did the tides in the ocean and the high pressure systems? How did they contribute to you fucking up that bad?
Here's your first problem.
Yeah.
Who's asking those questions?
They're peers, so it's never going to happen. But with the internet, everybody's a journalist. All you do is go on Facebook. We got political scientists. We got fucking doctors who flunked out in 8th grade.
Climate specialists
We
too.
got all of them.
Climate specialists
Climate
too.
specialists now. I mean, we got them
That
all.
girl's what, 17?
Yeah, we got them all on there. But I mean, I just think it's time that they get their balls busted, because this is this is getting crazy so far. Some good news, Jimmy. You want to talk about Portugal versus Ireland and what happened at the end of the game? You're the one who told me, so I don't want to. I mean, you brought the story to me, so you let it go.
I'll tell you right now, the Portuguese fans, what they do when they want a coach fired, they take out the white flags that they carry around and they start spinning them. And I'm not saying that he's close, but a lot of the people that I talk to in the area and on Twitter and all that stuff.
And those are some knowledgeable guys. 'Cause a lot of the guys you talk to, Peter, Danny, Andrew.
Those flags were halfway out of their pocket.
Really?
And even some now, I think, in 2016 when they won, it wasn't as talented as a team as it is now. So that park the bus philosophy and come out, and that worked for them. But now that the fact that these guys have Cadillacs around them everywhere on the left and on the right, he doesn't attack well. The guys are playing Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva. These guys are playing on top teams in Europe.
Yeah.
And they're not when they put the Portugal jersey on, they're not the same guys.
This should be the golden age of Portuguese soccer, right? And they're having trouble. They had trouble in the Euro getting going, and it seems like, against Ireland, Ronaldo shouldn't have to score 5 goals in the last minute for them to win.
And there are some people out there that say the team might play better with Ronaldo off it, because a lot of the players are looking at him, forcing him the ball a lot of times.
But that's not his fault.
Oh, no, hell no.
I mean, that's their fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But are you one of those guys that think that way?
It is his fault, and I wouldn't know this, but it's his fault if he's demanding it and all that stuff behind the scenes, but who knows?
Yeah.
But am I that? No, absolutely not.
From a guy who's really got into soccer over the last 10 years and read a lot of books about the hooligan culture and pay attention and watch the Premier League and watch the Bundesliga as much as I can and familiarize myself with some of the top clubs a little bit. Again, as a novice, I don't know the idiosyncrasies of it, but even though Portugal has more guys playing in bigger leagues internationally, when Portugal wins, it's usually about number 7.
Always.
Except the Euro Cup where he didn't play, and they were fortunate enough to win that game in the final.
When they lose, it's about him too.
Sure, yeah. Hey, well, that's the name of the game, right? In sports, maybe too much credit goes to the best player, like the quarterback in the NFL, right? Maybe too much credit goes to him, and too much criticism goes to him when they lose. That's what happens when you're that guy.
Soccer's more difficult. As a quarterback, you have that ball in your hands all the time.
Without question. I'm just saying when you're the man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, where's I'm not a big soccer guy. Where are they ranked? What is their?
They were top 5. After the Euro, they slipped to 8, I believe, just now.
The USA just climbed into the top 10. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did not see that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put too much stock in that, because you got like a team like Italy that just won, or France won the World Cup, and they were still ranked number 2.
It's constantly fluid. Speaking of the New England Patriots, let's get there. We're not done with soccer yet by any stretch of imagination, but we had that in the intro. We're done there. Pat's moves. Lots of people surprised by the release. Not necessarily surprised by who the starter's going to be, because I was surprised, because I thought in all of Belichick's arrogance, because he was so public saying Kim was going to be the starting quarterback, okay, I thought that he would stick to that stubbornly, as we've seen him do some rather strangely, some stubborn things as of late, in particular at that position. But I don't think anybody expected the outright release, Birdie, of Cam Newton. I mean, why release him? Is his ego and his presence too big of a shadow for a young Mac Jones?
There's a lot probably that went on behind the scenes that we don't even know about with this whole situation. You're not going to get nothing from Belichick. He's just going to tell you what you want to hear.
What you call him before the show started?
I called him a professional liar.
They all lie, but he takes
But
it
he's
to
the
a
best.
level.
No, he's the best there is. I mean, you're going to get nothing from him.
Sure.
Whatever happened behind closed doors with the Patriots, like, we're not going to be privy to.
Yeah.
I mean, was there ever any discussion with Cam about being the backup? We have no idea. Maybe he just said, no way I'm going to be a backup and get me out of here. We don't know.
Yeah.
What was Belichick's game plan going into the season now with Hoyer as your backup, right?
Well, Hoyer got released.
Oh, he did?
There's
I
only,
didn't
one,
even
there's
know
only
that.
one quarterback on the roster right
That's
now.
crazy.
So
So
now
where's he coming from? I mean, what's that?
You're
A lot of
rolling-
people were.
Jimmy G in it?
I wouldn't be
I saw
surprised
some
at
of that. I saw some of that Jimmy G bullshit.
Wouldn't be a good look for Mac Jones, though.
No. I mean.
So they're on the waiver wire right now, or something's going down because you're not going into the season, obviously, with one quarterback.
Stidham's on. I don't know if he's on IR.
I don't even
know
know.
he had surgery.
I have no idea.
Wow.
But wow.
Yeah,
But
this
listen, if you're ever going to be able to pick up a quarterback, it's going to be right now because there's going to be a ton of them getting released.
The backup quarterback
Mac
right
Jones.
now is Jacoby Myers. So if he had to go in the game, who's he going to throw the ball to? He can't throw the ball to himself.
Certainly not my man from Arizona State. What was his name again? The wide receiver
Nikhil.
that's been a bust.
Nikhil Harris.
Nikhil Harry.
Actually, Belichick just said he's expecting big things from him.
Of
this year.
course. Because he's not.
But he never said anything like that about him before.
I know nobody never said, like, in all the days about Tom Brady winning the first pocket spot at practice, winning the practice balls, being a teammate, flying friends to California to work out, we never really had Belichick, like, fawning. Everything he said about Cam Newton was so glowing. Like, he's worked so hard. He's been a tremendous example. He's such a joy to have around the
So
facility.
what's one thing that you always see from Belichick? He's always ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah.
He adapts himself.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing now.
I hear you.
He went from like lockdown. Now he's over fawning for these guys, and like he understands that today's athlete might need to be coddled a little bit.
Sure, but I mean, and that's you switch it up real quick in like a year or two. Like you have the best quarterback in the history of the world, and you struggle to say something nice about him in the last 2 years. You know, now Cam Newton comes in, you know what I mean, and underperforms. I mean, could have been a COVID, could have been a health issue, could have been the lack of practice time, and you're nominated for Man of the Year, and then you release him 2 seconds later. For me, the whole hoodie Belichick press conference thing to me is getting old, Birdie.
Belichick is on the hot seat this year. I'm going to give you a
Whoa!
No. Tom Brady's legacy is cemented in stone. Tampa Bay could go 0-16 this year. It doesn't matter. His legacy's already there. He's already did what he wanted to do.
So you're not saying he's on a hot seat with the Kraft family?
I'm not saying on the hot seat as far as getting fired, but I'm just talking about
His credibility, his history.
his persona, and
Sure.
everything else. He got a pass last year because a lot of players opted out.
Yeah.
He didn't have
The corona,
didn't have a
all
lot
that,
of
yeah.
weapons. They went
But
out.
the worst case scenario for him is what happened. Tom Brady leading his team.
Bingo. 100%, absolutely.
To a Super Bowl.
Now this year you free agency. You picked up the 2 tight ends. You got a number 1 receiver there. You got some backs that you're going to run a smash mouth offense. You got all your defensive players back. They don't make the playoffs this year. That's a bad look for Belichick going into the season. And now with this Mac Jones thing, I mean, is this is what he wanted going into the year? I don't think there's a lot of pressure on Mac Jones because he's a rookie. Statistically, I'll give you some numbers that rookie Hall of Fame quarterbacks that did not have good rookie seasons. It's going to be Belichick. This is his team. This is his doing. Their expectations this year are higher than they were last year. So,
if you look at his record in Cleveland, right, it was below 500. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, one playoff year.
Yeah. Okay. Then he has the unbelievable success with the Patriots.
He also had the team moving his last year, that whole documentary.
And that was a mess. And he had the quarterback controversy.
They were
with
3-0
with
without-
Birdie
before that?
Kozar
Birdie
and
Kozar.
Vinny Testaverde, which destroyed him because Birdie Kozar was a favorite son.
Well, that happened before.
Mike,
Ohio.
Bill Belichick's career record with anybody that's a quarterback not named Brady, 62 wins, 71 losses.
Now do that with the Patriots.
Well, this is career for the whole.
I get the
I don't
Cleveland
know- I
thing,
don't know
but
what
with
it
Matt
is.
Castle and Bledsoe was 5-11.
Yeah, I know he was 11-5.
11
with
and five,
Castle, yeah.
5-13 with Bledsoe.
Okay.
11 because he went 5-11,
All right,
and then
so, Jim, so let me ask you a question, right? How important is it for Belichick's legacy to have some significant success without Brady?
how important was it for Bill Walsh? People say he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. He
Sure.
had Joe Montana, Steve Young.
But he had a ton of Hall of Famers too. But that was when you didn't have football people running football teams.
So for me,
for the most part, that West Coast offense was so far ahead of everybody. Teams couldn't adjust. That's when you had families and trust and these non-football people running teams. You don't really see that type of stuff happen, anymore. That the Patriots being the anomaly there too. But so does Belichick have to have? So you don't think what Seifert did kind of brought Walsh's legacy down a couple of notches because he was so successful as well?
I don't look at it that way.
Okay.
Every great coach had a great quarterback, and most of the time, every quarterback had a pretty decent head coach.
Sure.
The two go hand in hand.
Sure.
I'm the firm believer of maybe Ryan Leaf is a bad example, but if Rick Myra had been drafted by the Patriots instead of Drew Bledsoe, Rick Myra would have had a way better career just being in the right particular thing.
Certain organizations, I agree
So
with
I
that.
think the two are always going to be married together. For me, Belichick's legacy is never going to be on the line. The guy's hands down a great coach, but nationally, they hate him, and so they always want to. They want to take him down. They want to take him down.
I hear you, but how he treated Brady, and I think how they went about the business of he went about the business of doing that, and how much ego he brings to the table, how much arrogance he brings to the table in his own way.
But
we've seen arrogance with Jimmy Johnson, we've seen arrogance with Terry Bradshaw, we've seen arrogance
Parcells.
with Parcells. Belichick has his own way of being arrogant, right? Dismissive of reporters, condescending to players. In meetings. All of that. I think that, and I think the Pats are equipped to. I think that they've done an amazing job rebuilding. That team looks fast, looks hungry. The offensive line looks good. We got a plethora of running backs. We got wide receivers making a handful of plays.
2 tight ends.
We got 2 tight ends that are talking about it. I think Belichick has to routinely make the playoffs. Okay, now listen. He's not gonna drop from the greatest coach of all time.
I thought last year was a good year for him with that team 8-8.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's fantastic.
The problem is he's in the shadow of what's going to happen, what Tom Brady's doing now. Though that's where the comparison's being made. It's not nothing over the career. From
the narrative is Trump. Brady trumped Belichick first year. Will Belichick respond this year? That's the narrative.
That's
right.
100%.
That's right or wrong. If Jimmy says
that's where you're going to judge. Unfortunately, that's where Belichick's going to be judged at this point from when Brady left the Patriots, rather than based on his whole body of work prior to that. And that's just the way it is right now. And you're 100% right. He's hated, as most of the Patriots are around the country, for the success they've had over the years. You go anywhere outside of New England. I was out in Vegas for several Super Bowls, specifically the perfect season when they lost to the Giants, and the place was going nuts out there. You had people with Chargers shirts, Colts shirts. Everybody was going crazy. They wanted the Patriots.
Why though?
Because it's like the brand, the Yankees, like when the teams have success like this, and you're constantly.
But the Yankees had fans in every arena at every time.
Mikey,
yeah.
You were part of a team that went undefeated for 2 years.
We had a lot of fans from other towns, from other cities.
I understand that, but when Durfee was coming to town in a road game, there was some hostile environments.
Can I say one thing about that? Is you're talking about the Yankees. The Yankees fan base, the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base, the Cowboys fan base.
Our real fan bases.
Yeah, but those fan bases were created from, so you got people that grew up here. that were Cowboys fans that passed that on to their kids and their kids.
The Italians with the Yankees, DiMaggio.
The Patriots are new to all of this, so you don't have any of that history that the Yankees had. That's why they pack stadiums everywhere they go, and that's why they're so beloved.
And that's where they travel. You see that with the Celtics in the NBA.
Sure.
And you certainly see it, with the Red Sox, with Red Sox Nation going out everywhere. That's a great point. Our Patriots fans, real football fans, we're about to find out if things go south.
Well, me and you were old school. I don't know if you were on the metal seats at Gillette.
I was in the metal seats with piss up to my ankles going into my shoe. Okay,
I remember Fenway Park.
Big cats hanging around that. Right?
I remember Fenway Park peeing in a freaking trough.
Yeah,
staring at another guy looking at me.
Yeah, I hear you. You're right. And the only woman we saw, they only had 3 teeth in their mouth and had more drinks in them than we did.
If you go back to the 70s, you remember this.
Yeah.
They banned Monday night games.
Sure.
Because it was.
How about blackouts? We couldn't watch games because they didn't sell enough tickets. I mean, that's why I get a lot of Giants fans around here because that was the team that we saw.
I can't stand Boston College. I like Notre Dame football just because Notre Dame football was on every week. Rocket Ishmael was my guy.
There you go.
So I hated BC. They never won. They were never on TV that I saw. And Notre Dame was that was my team.
Why does he get released? Why does Cam Newton get outright released if we don't have a backup quarterback as of right now? Why not let him hang around for a week or 2 or 3?
Could have been.
Is it a professional courtesy? Did he handle it badly? Okay. Did they really not like him as much as they said? Did they think he could have been a distraction? But give me a reason not to have a backup plan. Like, he went out of his way to sell us on Newton, and then how they could win with Newton, and then they're going to build around him. Okay? And just like that, in a very Belichickian move, he is gone, cut, see you later, F you, out the door, bang. Now, okay? But now, Hoyer's cut. We don't have a backup. Why not keep him around for 2 or 3 weeks? I mean, he's not making enough money.
Well, we don't know what's going on
to make a difference with his kicker, right? I mean, how does that work?
We don't know what was offered, what went on behind the scenes, whether or not there was a conversation with him. But the Patriot way is Richard Seymour, Boyer Malloy, Ty Law. These guys, they just cut ties with him. Tom Brady, I mean.
Yeah.
You close the book and move on.
Yeah. But
rip the Band-Aid off.
But you can't play the game without a quarterback, right? And now we only have one.
They're rolling the dice. They really are.
I mean, now we're gonna have 2 more before the season starts. But you can't keep. I mean, I don't think Kim's making a significant amount of money. So what if you're going to pay him $1 million or $2 million? Just make sure you have somebody until you find somebody else, right?
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
And NFL purgatory is the worst place you can be as a franchise. You go 8-8 every year. You're the Buffalo Bills, 8-8, 7-9. You're picking between 9 and 15.
Yeah, of course.
Worst place you can be.
Yeah.
My thing is, if Mac Jones gets hurt and you have Cam Newton, you win, 8, 9 games?
Sure. Yeah.
If Mac Jones goes down and Brian Hoyer's your guy, then
3 or 4, if that.
Better for us in the long run, is it not?
Yeah, I mean,
fans,
yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, listen, if you're not going to win it,
you're not winning a Super Bowl with Cam Newton, so why keep him around just to win more games and then?
Well, I'm just saying, just say Jones gets a hamstring. I mean, you got a guy that can win you a game or 2.
True.
You know what I mean? I mean, we saw. I mean, Tom Brady kept this shit on track when Bledsoe went down, and then ultimately won the deal, but. Castle kept us on track, and we should have been in the playoffs that year. I mean, I think we need a guy that can at least go steal us a game every other week to stay competitive. Mac Jones, right? Clearly won the competition, right? Anybody have a problem with that?
No, it was close. I mean, Cam looked good at times, but the kid played well. I mean, it could have went either way, and it was just kind of shocking the way that this whole thing played out.
Wise beyond his years, right? That's how they talk about him. He sees the D. He makes the reads. He's a little quicker. His brain works a little differently. He's from Alabama. He's from that winning culture, that study culture.
Hightower said that he's the only rookie he's seen that goes into the defensive meetings to see what they're looking at.
Really?
So that just shows you this kid's
how they're scouting his offensive team that he's about to put on the floor.
Yeah, he wants to know what the defenses are doing.
I'm a big thing in self-scouting.
I
think that's unbelievable.
You got to have that.
So he's in the defensive meetings watching. Now, how come I'm finding this out from my man James Hilario? How come I'm not finding that out from Mike Reese How come I'm not finding that out from Andy Grash?
Because they're
how come
talking about.
How come I'm not finding it out from anybody else, man?
They're talking about the bad things. They don't want you to
Birdie,
know the
that's
good
genius.
things.
If this kid's making that type of work commitment, you know,
Well,
good
like,
things.
like I said, you're coming from Alabama. I mean, that's the cream of the crop. I mean, you got to be. Look at Tua come out of there a year ago. Mac Jones now. I mean,
Jalen Hurts too.
Jalen Hurts.
I mean, you're talking. You should be. You played with all first round picks. You're pro ready coming out of Alabama. So
Well, that was a knock on him, right? He's got too many Cadillacs around him. He can't throw
Yeah,
the
of
ball.
course, yeah.
But who said that about Joe Burrow the year before?
No, the same thing.
And how many top
And
five
he
wide
looked good.
receivers had him?
Yeah, and he looked good too. Like they say, maybe it's the AFC, the NFC, and the SEC. The only the ones that really matter. Let's go to Stephon Gilmore, okay? In his situation. And Birdie, what's happening there?
he's on the PUP, which means he's going to miss, I believe, the first 6 games of the season. He's in a contract dispute, I believe, right now. So it's not a good look right now. And he's a stud. You're going to need him. If you lose him and he doesn't want to play or something, this contract thing continues. That's not going to be
Possible
good.
trade bait, possibly.
Well, like we just said, the way the Patriots operate, would it shock you if all of a sudden a week or two from
Let's
now?
see. Let's see. At Kansas City, they might overpay for an all-pro type defensive back.
What's the return on a guy with a knee injury, though?
That's the
the
whole
end of
deal.
last year.
That's the whole. That's the whole thing. I mean, when you look at the Gordon Minshew trade from Jacksonville, here's a guy who's won games as an NFL quarterback, and all you get is a 6th rounder for him. So we know how much they value draft picks in the NFL. I don't know. It's interesting. But I think it would be almost as much about the money as they're paying him to free that up to potentially go get somebody else next year.
I think Minshew was on short money.
No, I'm not talking about Mitchell. I'm talking about Gilmore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Gilmore's issue would be like, okay, like if we get some picks over, get some picks over, but let's free that cap space up so go get somebody to replace him.
And they paid him a bump last year.
Sure.
That was part of this year's contract.
Yeah.
I think that's what the Patriots are kind of insisting on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. What are your expectations for the Patriots this year? I think that I have higher expectations than I anticipated coming in here. I took no shame jumping on Tom Brady's bandwagon. I took no shame rooting for Tampa last year.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't like those people.
I loved it. I thought he gave everything. At the end, using the words traitor like he's Benedict Arnold, like people are getting killed because he's making the wrong decision here. This is a business. Only 2 teams wanted to give him 2 years: the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Diego Chargers. Shame on the Patriots. If you read Barron's Business magazine, they have an unbelievable article about who's trying to figure out not the money that was restructured. There's a lot of misinformation. He got a lot of that on the back end, but he also lost, according to Barron's, about $67 million in hard money by restructuring.
Who was it? I forget what quarterback it was. I don't know if it was Dak just on his new deal, but basically a quarterback just signed, and it was Brady's career versus this contract that the quarterback just signed. It was the same money.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Same money.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah,
Bananas.
It is. A guy who took less to win, who routinely took less, who I just thought he deserved to be treated better, so I was on it. But I'm rooting for Tampa first this year, and Patriots are my team in the AFC.
Well, week 4, who you rooting for?
Oh, without question, Tom Brady.
Over the Patriots.
Over the Patriots.
See, that's where I draw my line.
No, telling
Let me tell you,
that's
I got
how
the
it is.
Brady jersey. My kids all have them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a Bucks guy right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be the fanboy. I love Brady more than any athlete or
I hear you.
probably any other human outside of like people I know personally.
Sure, yeah. But
Him
you
and-
still
him
go
and
with the
Ronaldo,
Pats.
it's a tough one.
You still go with the Pats?
But the Pats are your team. You gotta go with them first.
Because
Because that's a hard look coming back from that afterwards.
No, it's not because I think I value loyalty, and I value trust more than I value any sports team.
So where's your loyalty to the Patriots before, and then it goes to the Buccaneers, and then it comes back afterwards?
My loyalty is very simple. My loyalty is the guy who gave up $67 million. My loyalty is the guy who took a franchise that was worth $444 million and turned it to $4.4 billion. The aggregate against the rest of the teams was an additional $1.8 million that they had made compared to the other teams. I'm for the guy that never let us down. I'm from the guy that was a great team leader. I'm for a guy that sacrificed himself and played with chicken shit when other subpar quarterbacks had chicken soup around him as far as talent.
There's no doubt about
that's the guy. That's the guy I'm with. I think it's bigger than a sports question with me. It's philosophical. It's a philosophical question, okay? And because I put so much stock in loyalty into my thing, I think Tom Brady deserves to get treated better. And as long as he wins, as long as he's playing, I don't care if he's playing for the Toronto Rough Riders. That's the team I'm going to be.
Well, I said if he went to the Jets, I wouldn't root for the Jets versus the Patriots, but I'm rooting for Tom wherever he goes.
Yeah,
that's
sure,
fine.
yeah,
But when he plays against the Patriots, I got to draw the line.
I hear you.
I got to draw
Maybe
the
I'm
line.
not. Maybe
Unless the Patriots are 0-3 going into that game, and then, like I said before, I want the draft pick, right? If we're not winning the Super Bowl, then I want the better draft.
It's going to be interesting. Now, let me ask you a question. When that game happens, what's this like? How many people will be rooting for Brady in that audience? 20%, 15, 25.
Depends on what the mood of the game is, what the score
No, I'm
is.
talking about before. How many people are going there to see Brady beat the Patriots?
I know a handful of people that are going that are like that, as far as like a percentage of crowd that aren't Buccaneers
I'm going to
fans.
say 20%.
I might be more than that.
Yeah, you think so? I've been saying 20% for the last month.
More than that.
It's not a bad number.
I say 1 out of every 5, one of every 4 will have some extra interest in Brady beating the Patriots.
If I'm judging based alone on my group messages, like the many that I'm in, I would say 20% is probably
a decent number.
It's probably right around there.
You know, that's probably going to be the biggest hyped NFL regular season game
It's going to be
that
the
I can
biggest
remember.
regular season ticket.
Probably since when Parcells came back to play the Patriots when he was with the Cowboys. I
It's
believe.
going to be bigger than that. They say it's going to be the highest price regular season ticket in history over the average of what it has been was 2005 when they rolled out when they all got their rings and they raised the championship banner at Fenway. There were tickets going for $10,000 a pop.
Yeah. This is
Right now you have seats in bad seats going for $10,000.
I told my friend who has season tickets down low. I said, sell those things for $3,000 each. Buy the $1,000 tickets upstairs, and you still put money in your pocket, and you get to go in the game.
To see the
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah,
though.
he's going to sell for a lot more than $3,000. I wish we could look that up and find out. Find out what the average ticket is going.
You want StubHub right now?
The secondary market,
gonna
yeah.
be,
you're
check it
gonna
out.
see-
Check it out. See what you get for good seats there. But it's an interesting thing, and who knows? There's a silent enemy out there, Birdie. That's devastating the Red Sox. That's devastating sports teams. I mean, the team that wins the Super Bowl might be the team that does the best job of handling COVID. Because right now it's wreaking havoc to Major League Baseball. And with football getting ready to start too, what's to make you think that's not going to do the same there? It's something that we still haven't got the handle on it. The only way to do it is from a professional sports angle.
Well, the Red Sox,
Rob,
right?
camera. All right.
The Red Sox, it's a complete nightmare right now. What's going on with them? It's hour by hour. They're losing players, and it's just spiraling out of control.
All right, we're going to play a little game here, football. What do we at here?
586.
5 for terrible seats.
That's the
We're
worst
looking
seat
at
on
five-
StubHub.
What does it usually go retail?
Probably about $200, maybe.
$200, so it's almost 2-3 times average. What's the expensive seats going for?
Oh, jeez.
Now listen, we're gonna
And
play.
this game got bigger with Mac Jones instead of Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna play a game here, okay? I'm gonna mention a quarterback, and you're gonna say up or down. He's gonna have a better year than last year or a worse year. All right? Jameis Winston, does he exceed expectations or not?
Based on when he was with,
Yeah, he didn't play much last
because
year.
he didn't
right?
play last year.
Based in being the Saints quarterback, replacing Drew Brees, bringing the deep ball threat that Sean Payton lust over.
Michael Thomas is not going to be there for the first 6 weeks. I'm going to say thumbs down
Thumbs
to
up.
Jameis Winston.
Jimmy, where are you going?
Sneaky thumbs up.
Sneaky thumbs up.
Like fantasy wise, I think he's going to be that guy. Like, because I don't know how good
yeah,
that
no,
defense
a lot
is
of
going to
people.
be.
A lot of people are talking about. That. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, with all the bullshit, I'm going thumbs down performance wise from him.
No, Aaron Rodgers. I think he's got the fire lit underneath him based on what's happened over there. I think he's going to have a big year.
I thought last year he had the fire because of the first round pick. I think he wanted out this year. Now I think he's just over it, wants to get this season over with so he
you
could
think
become
he's
a
going to
free
be
agent.
like Tom Brady is last year, where he just
He's gonna try to.
Well, I think he's got better weapons than that.
Well,
so he'll,
look
you
at
know,
his predecessors. Manning was able to score another ring on his way out the door, right? And so was Brady. So, I think he's probably going to go to Denver, right? Or going to go to a place like that on the West Coast. They're going to have them. They'll be able to pay him.
Why didn't Denver draft a quarterback? They were picking 8. They traded for the kid.
They
from
had
Carolina.
Bridgewater. I know
They
that
traded for
signed.
Bridgewater. They traded for Bridgewater right before the draft. But if you're 8, I'm not a fan of Drew Lock. Why didn't they? What? I mean, that was one of the teams that Rodgers said he wanted to go to. I think it was Denver, Oakland.
No, I think they made a run at him.
So
it'll be interesting.
But they didn't draft a quarterback.
Fields
I think they
was
might have
available.
that backdoor.
Yeah.
Come on over when you're done.
Deal? Yeah. I'd be making deals like a motherfucker in the back door.
Yeah, I'm not
if
for
I had
that.
relationships to do that, I know it's even though it's illegal.
Who cares?
It's only illegal if you get caught. Jalen Hurts, I'm way down.
He's
I'm way down.
He's on a bad team, boy. I'd have to go down.
Jimmy, where you at with him?
So they traded Minshew. Did they not want him around because they don't want that fight?
Yeah,
I'm going up.
You're going up? Okay. Jimmy G. I'm going up this year for Jimmy G. Low expectations. Competition's good, right?
Pissed off.
For athletes, pissed off. Reason to play. I'm going big ups for Jimmy G this year.
Yeah, he's got a good roster around him too. Yeah, I like Jimmy G.
Shanahan said he might use both.
Really?
I can see that happening.
I don't like that for a quarterback. That's interesting too. I don't. That's. I didn't like that when they do that when they did that with.
Even with Breeze and
Yeah, I didn't like it when they did it, but I understood their methodology. I understood the reasons why. I just didn't like it. But we'll see what's going to happen. Certainly, the NFL's trending that way with certain specific type skill sets in the red zone. Pat Mahomes.
Big thumbs up.
I always got to go up with that guy.
Think so?
He was hurt at the end of the last year in the playoffs. There's a lot of things that were going on. The offensive line was devastated in the Super Bowl.
Sure.
I like Mahomes.
Are they getting the running back that opted out because of COVID last year? Should have been the Super Bowl MVP when they beat the 49ers. I think Williams, is he coming back this year?
I don't know.
don't think
I know they just cut. Didn't they just cut a first round wide receiver?
I wasn't a
Sammy
fan of
Watkins is gone. I think he went to Baltimore. But they're still loaded offensively. They retooled their whole offensive line.
Tyreek Hill wants to race Usain Bolt, and he said he'll beat him in a 40, but lose in the 70.
Oof.
I'd pay for that. I paid for that before I saw Jake Paul and David Willey fight or whatever. Without all these other crazy mismatch.
So Hill's
matchup.
confident he would beat him in the 40. Is that
That's what he
said?
said. He said he could get him in a 40, the 70.
You know what?
And Bolt would have bet the gold medal on a 40.
In a shorter race,
Bolt said, I bet every gold medal on the 70-yard dash, but was hesitant to put it up in the 40. Do you hear about this talk going on?
all I'm saying is outside of Thunder Lips from Rocky III. Okay, when have those things ever panned out? And when have those things ever worked?
I know. They
Name one. Shaq versus De La Hoya. The pros versus Joes. Those things, they always water it down. It's terrible. It never works.
But people are making money with the Paul brothers, right?
And that's what it's
those
all
guys
about.
are
They're
doing.
making money, but the product is garbage. I'm saying, when does it work? When is it good?
Yeah, maybe in this age when everything that's up is down, everything that's down is up, and we don't know which way we're going. All right, listen to me. We got Tua from Miami. Where we at with him?
Thumbs down.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
down
know.
with
He's got upgraded offensive weapons this year. The kid from Alabama they drafted. They picked up Fuller, who's opened the field up for him. You're going to get a healthy Devontae Parker?
Yeah.
I like Tua. I don't know. I'll give Tua a thumbs up. I think he's going to get better.
Josh Allen, I think it continues to get better. I think he's a physical freak. The more he learns the game, he'll get better. And he is with probably the best fan base in the NFL, the most loyal.
The Mafia.
They're not going to be booing him. They're not going to be on his case. They're going to be talking shit about him. I think it's a great incubator for success up there, the Bills Mafia. I'm going up with Josh Allen.
I'm going up as well. They might be moving from that fan base too.
Yeah, to Toronto? Is that what they're talking about?
I saw Austin, Texas as a possibility.
I don't
too.
think that's going to.
I would hope not, man.
Yeah, that would be a bad look for the NFL.
I'm going up on him.
It's pretty sad when we're putting NFL teams in Southern Florida and we're taking them out of Canada. You know what I mean? Kyler Murray, I'm way down.
Yeah,
I'm way down. I watched him in an exhibition game. He looked lost. Absolutely no command. I'm way down on this. I don't know if it's the coach who I like. Okay. I don't know if it's a system. I don't know if he's just too small. I don't know.
Well, the expectations on any rookie quarterback like him and Tua are that you got a year under your belt now. You should be elevating. Huh?
Sure.
This is year 3. The year
Oh,
3
is it 3 for
quarterback,
him?
I think.
Yeah. Oh, you might be right.
Quarterback's always like
I
the
thought
year.
maybe he might have came in last year.
I thought it was the second guy too, but I could be wrong.
But he's got to. Those guys have to gradually get better, right?
There was a point in the year last year I thought he might win MVP the way he was playing.
Sure,
And
but
then,
he fizzled
and
towards
then
the
he
end.
just dropped out. I don't know if it's an injury because he's a smaller guy. I don't know what his deal is, but
Lamar Jackson.
going down.
He's played at such a high level the last 2 years. Yeah, it'd be tough for him to continue. They've got a few different new looks there too. I don't know.
They just lost Dobbins too.
Yeah, that's a big.
This is where I'm at with Lamar Jackson. Okay, this is where I'm at. I'm gonna sleep if he gets 500 yards a game in a regular season. Wake me up when he's gonna win a big playoff game, when the weather's a little different, the intensity's a little different,
When they're down
the defense
7.
is a little different, and they get down early. Yeah. Okay, there's only one thing left to see, and with Aaron Rodgers too. I don't want to hear. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers throws for 400 yards against the Patriots defense or does this against that.
His numbers in the NFC Championship game are abysmal.
Yeah,
abysmal. Even the one he won.
Wake me up when the outcome's in doubt. Wake me up when there's a mountain to climb.
When the money's on the table.
Wake me up
when
when
the trophy's on the table.
Wake me up when the money is on the table.
Last year, I heard all
Absolutely.
these things in the NFC Championship game. Oh, Brady threw 3 picks. Brady threw 3 picks. I was all right. Well, what did Rodgers do with those?
Yeah, of course.
He scored 3
one
points.
of them was a punt.
3 points.
And one of them was deflection. Rookie quarterbacks. I'm going to make this real quick right here. I'm going with Zach Wilson of the Jets, man. I've been saying it since he's been at BYU. I bet BYU all year last year in college football. I'm watching Max Kellerman and the football guys from New York salivate over this kid.
That's
You
your first
listen to
mistake right there,
you
Max
I know. I usually believe me. Nobody busts his balls more than I do. But to hear him talk about him and his counterparts talk about him that way, and you listen to the fan.
Absolutely.
So they must be loving this kid, right?
At first, before the preseason started, they were typical New York fans. They were questioning everything. Then a couple of games into preseason, he looks real good. Now their mood's completely changed. They think he's the best coming since Joe Namath. So
he stunk too. He stunk. He's got more interceptions than touchdowns. He had that.
But I mean,
year.
I'm just talking about from a Jets fan's perspective.
It was Joe Willie Namath and their persona. He was a bad boy at Alabama. Got suspended for most of his senior year or junior year in Alabama as well, too. For breaking rules. At the Playboy Club till 4 o'clock in the morning before they beat the Raiders.
That's what I want my Joe Namath to do. I want my Joe Namath.
Joe's
the sideline girls. That's why I want
Michael Irvin with an 8-ball stuff in his pocket with a big rope chain with 2 hookers in it for a
those guys are so lucky that they played in that era without cell phones, without cameras, because can you imagine the trouble those guys would have gotten?
Tell me about it.
Like Derek Sanderson stories from the Bruins back in the 70s. My God. Even Eckersley and Remy when they go back and forth.
Yeah. Ronaldo, we're sitting on football, we're talking about Ronaldo and Messi now. 2 of the biggest, if not, I'm going to say
biggest soccer
Messi, Ronaldo, LeBron James, Tom Brady, throw a boxer in there, whatever. 5 most recognizable athletes in the world. Certainly, Ronaldo and Messi may be on the top of that heap. If you look at the international fan base, they both changed teams this year. Messi goes to probably the Champions League favorite now, PSG. Ronaldo goes back home.
Home is in Lisbon.
Yeah, true. Sporting. Home is in Sporting.
Home is Sporting Portugal.
Okay.
That's home for me. And I get everybody saying that,
but
that irks me. That irks me.
Well, I have Sporting in my notes because we're going to ask about a return to Sporting someday to wrap it all up.
So his mom is a gigantic Sporting fan.
Sure.
And after every game at the end of the year, that was all the questions. She said, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. Sure. Nike secretly became Sporting's. They made the jerseys. They went from Macron to Sporting.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They named the practice field after him.
Sure.
The complex.
I'd rather see him go there than America. America is like a place where great icons, soccer icons go to.
That does not move the needle for me.
Pelé, even
Beckham.
We've seen him, Beckham, all of them. Okay, but let's talk about a business move, right? In all this talk about the super team, and all this criticism about LeBron and Kevin Durant and others, okay? Messi goes to The super teams, PSG.
Okay,
right?
let me stop you there though, because super team without a doubt, right? Neymar, Mbappe, Messi.
Yeah.
You know, right now the French league is ranked 6th in Europe, behind Portugal. They do the Champions
That was
League
my next.
qualification.
That was my next note.
Yeah.
That was my next note.
See, you're right. You know, I'm sorry for doubting the
That's all
soccer.
right, that's
I'm
all
sorry
right,
for doubting the
that's all
soccer.
right,
But
that's all right.
I'm sorry.
No, listen to me. Soccer, stop me whenever you want. I've seen you and your crew and my crew watch soccer games. You can do that. Now listen to me. But goes to the French team. Okay, so you know it's all about the Champions League, right? And getting PSG to a Champions League.
They offered him the most money too. That team's loaded.
Loaded. Yeah, exactly.
Loaded.
But if you look at the contrast, right? And now you start really thinking about things, right? Messi, has a embittered relationship in Argentina. Messi gets wrapped up in the money fraud and the tax fraud. A lot of people said he put on his own man.
Everybody did. Ronaldo had the same thing.
Yeah, but they came clean and took care of it right away. It wasn't a lasting issue like that. But Messi goes to the New York Yankees of the European League, for lack of a better analogy. The most money, the most guns, the best place to be, Paris, one of the all-time great cities in the history of the world, okay? Whereas Ronaldo goes back to textile, manufacturing, blue-collar, Manchester, where it all started. And I just think it's a brilliant move because I think the lay people are going to look at this. Everybody likes what's this like? You can never go home, kid, or you can always go home. You know what I mean? Like there's that dichotomy there where, but that's what fairy tales are made out of, right? That's what Walt Disney stories are made of. I think Ronaldo going back to Man U is a brilliant business decision, and he played Man City against Man U perfectly. Man U was in a situation where they could not let their golden boy, okay, come into their city, side with their rival, who has been dominating the news cycle over them for the last 4 or 5 years. It was Man U had to come out with this. Ronaldo's agent did an unbelievable job, and it's not a great deal of money, right? $25 million or something like that, I think it was.
25 for he's highest paid English player of all time, salary wise, but for the actual contract, the bid was 25 million.
25 million. I thought it was a genius move for Ronaldo. Yes or no? Where you at?
Again, if he couldn't go back to Sporting, then I'm happy. This is the move that I wanted. And the best move as a fit would have been City because they don't have a number 9 forward. They try to get Kane.
Everybody said that. Everybody said that on the show yesterday.
He goes to Manchester City. That's basically what because
that's the missing link for them.
They're number 2.
Yeah,
and they might be the Paris Saint-Germain.
Sure.
If he goes there,
they have all that oil money.
So the fact that he didn't do that, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I was pissed. But the fact that he didn't do that.
No, I hear you. Now listen, right? They got the oil money in Man City. They've been a team that's probably most talked about internationally. Okay, but yet no real Champions League trophy to bring home, right? So you figure if Ronaldo goes there. He's the link. He's the missing link. He's what they need, right? A certified, bona fide striker. As instead of like a striker by committee type thing. The guys who I talked soccer with on Monday's show said that Ronaldo would have been an unbelievable fit for Man City.
Perfect fit.
Unbelievable fit.
Yeah, it would have been Birdie back to the Patriots.
So why does he go to Man U?
That's where he made his name.
Sure.
And he's I think the United's lucky that Sir Alex Ferguson's still alive because the word was that they talked.
Yeah.
And
they said that
Ronaldo is his Ronaldo. That's his. What's the word for it? Consigliere.
Yeah.
That's his guy.
That's his guy.
Yeah.
Now, I was in the Ferguson. For those who don't know, one of the most iconic figures in sports history. The face of Man U, I believe 19 Premier League titles, like on top of one another. Unbelievable run. We're from Giggsby and Beckham to Rooney and Ronaldo, and just has been the standard for a long, long time. Man U has fallen off a little bit, certainly, but the most popular club in the world with the most fan franchises in different countries and stuff like that. They're not the most valuable as they once were 10 years ago.
They're about to be.
Yeah, you're right. They probably are about to be. Okay, so we talk about that. Now, who do you think will have more success where?
So PSG's winning that league. There's no one that is going to touch them.
Sure.
None. No one. Absolutely no one. So if you consider that success, I don't think people would do that, right?
Yeah.
It's Champions League above.
Yeah.
They have the advantage of resting guys probably. They play Tuesday, Wednesday, and then either Saturday, Sunday for the league game. So they have the advantage of resting probably some guys. Like Messi can probably take a Saturday off
of course,
to play a big Champions League game.
Yeah.
So they have that advantage. Whereas if United win the league, and it's been a while since they did that now, then Ronaldo, even if Messi were to win the Champions League, I think Ronaldo winning the
Premier League
would be, they're still the fourth favorite, even right now with him there.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a bigger accomplishment than winning that stacked, with that team.
In a Premier League is much more physical, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's it. Okay, next up on the list, Tampa Bay Devil Rays. What time are we looking at right here? We get him out of here in 5 minutes. We'll be good. Okay, Tampa Bay Devil Rays, $28.3 million payroll. They're on pace to win 103 games. Okay, I watched them versus the Red Sox. It's not even close. It's boys against men. The Red Sox look like the bad news bears out there, and now they're being ravaged by COVID. Okay, here's a team that only has a $28.3 million payroll, only averages 8,000 fans per game, okay? But they're 8 games better than the Yankees, 10 games better than the Red Sox, 14.5 better than the Blue Jays, and 42.5 over the Orioles in front of just 8,000 people. I got a couple of questions first, but how are they doing this year in and year out, Birdie, with what they do? Kevin Cash.
There's 2 models that you're going to go by with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Devil Rays and the Oakland A's have been doing this for years. Oakland had Billy Bean over there.
Sure.
They were a short payroll for years. They were always competitive. They were
Moneyball.
always in the playoffs.
Good movie. Watch
The one problem that Tampa has, though, is now take, for example, this kid Juan DeFranco that they just called up. This kid looks like the real deal. He's putting up numbers that are off the charts. 2-3 years from now, after he comes off his first contract, he's out of there. He's not staying
Well, let me
there.
ask you a question. Isn't the most valuable players on that team not players? Isn't it Kevin Cash, the manager? Isn't it Kyle Snyder, the pitcher coach? And isn't it the general manager?
I would say Kevin Cash, absolutely not the way he blew that World Series game.
Well,
7
that's
last
a
year.
big controversy. I agree with you 100%
I agree,
on
too.
that.
That was awful.
I agree.
He was at 70 pitches.
Sometimes you got to crawl before you run. And I think that his resume of doing what he's doing in a league of superpowers, I think if it happens again, then you're going to start asking the question, is he ready for prime time? But for that first mistake, we'll give it to him.
Well, these other teams are starting to follow the model of these teams, because look what the Red Sox did this year. They got Heinblum, who was with Tampa Bay. He was the general manager over there. They hired him. What did they do at the trade line deadline this year? Red Sox didn't really make any moves. They grabbed Schwarber, but aside from that, they didn't really do anything. Whereas the Yankees, Gallo, Rizzo, all these other players, the Dodgers, Scherzer, Trey Turner. There was a lot of talent out there, and the Red Sox just didn't want to go do anything with it. So I don't know what the future holds, but they're a hot mess right now, the Red Sox.
Tampa Bay, Super Bowl, Stanley Cup, right? Now they get a team that can go deep. Where are their fans at? They say it's in a bad neighborhood. It's out of the way, right?
No, I've been down there, Mike. It's not the neighborhood. It's just the location of the place itself. And aside from the Oakland Coliseum, that's one of the worst places to go in and watch a game. But you're 100% right. You got a team winning like that, you should be drawing fans.
Where's their radio promo marketing team? Where's their street marketing people?
That's the Florida sports fan in a nutshell, right there.
What are you?
But
I watched the Devil Rays and I watched the hockey team. It's fucking crazy.
Yep.
Baseball's down though.
The Buccaneers, and it's crazy.
Baseball's everyday sport.
I hear you.
It's down in popularity in general.
Is there a greater underdog in professional sports is there a better center that actually has a shot than the Tampa Bay Devil Rays or the Rays?
I'd rather see Oakland win for me.
Oakland?
Well, Oakland's in the mix this year, yeah.
See, those are the teams that you said before, right? You wanted Jackson to win a playoff game, Rodgers to win that game.
Yeah.
these teams historically have the best records during the regular season. I think that Moneyball, I think it works in the regular season
Well, it
over,
doesn't,
over a long
doesn't
course
relate
of time.
to the playoffs. So.
But if take all the salaries out of it, you're the New York Yankees. Would you trade your roster for the Devil Rays roster?
No.
Never, right?
No. But would you trade for the chemistry and the intangible and what they got going on and for the profit margin? Maybe. Someday. But that's not going to sell in New York. New York is Broadway. Tampa Bay's off Broadway. Now, let me ask you a question. One of the great sports memories of my lifetime, and to wrap this up, because my man's got a softball game with our dudes from Northeast Alternative. One of the greatest plays in pro sports, okay, was a play that nobody saw happen until it happened. It's when Derek Jeter made that backhand flip, okay? And that's your Oakland A's World Series right there.
Listen to me. That is a great play.
Yeah.
The one that I can't stand is the one where he jumped into the stands because Pokey Reese did way better in that same game. Pokey Reese's catch was way better. That play you're talking about it's epic.
Yeah.
But without that, the Yankees are done.
Even I can't hate
The
that.
Yankees are
that's
done.
that
Billy
was
Beane would have his World Series.
I don't know.
He'd have his World Series.
They would have been in the World Series, whether or not they would have won. But
Well, the Yankees did.
Yeah.
That was in the Braves. That I don't know if that was the
I don't
Padres.
remember.
The Braves
what
were
it was.
with
That you're 100% right. That was one of the most unbelievable things you're ever going to see in
Intuitive,
baseball.
instinctive play, you know.
It's
of
a
all-
guy
of
that
all them.
sees
Sure.
things like they used to say Larry Bird could see things before it
Of
happened
course, yeah.
on the court.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter was that same animal.
Sure.
In a play like that in baseball, it's not as much of a game where you're going to see a play ahead, but for him to make that play, to be one ahead of the whole
To
game.
have the wherewithal to
vision
to float to the right space, to pick it up cleanly, to make the no look,
There's not a
to
lot
put
of-
it on the
No,
money.
it's an elite athlete that,
you know,
like you
and-
said, there's
How many scenarios in baseball can a play like that even happen? Right? Like what?
Yeah.
Like
happens in the backyard a lot more than happens in the major
Like
leagues.
how many
Yeah.
scenarios? Yeah, how many? I'm about to go play a softball game. My ass is going to be sitting there standing in right field, just like a pole.
Well-
There's not too many scenarios where you can go out of position to kind of do something like that.
So, well, want to wish you good luck any game. Did you enjoy your first day here?
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
great. Yeah,
I told you it'd be good. Birdie, the Hurricane.
Yep.
We're gonna get this thing on. Actually, we're experimenting with not going live now anyway, right? With doing the pre-recorded stuff. So maybe this will be a good test dummy for us as we unleash this tomorrow, and we'll get our promotional people behind it when we're letting it go, because I think it's worth your time. Thank you. I'm the Hurricane BADCATZ Sports. You know how we do it.